what's going on? Uh-oh. I still got Hang on.
Look who was first to comment,
there we
as
go.
usual.
Yeah, Corey's on here already. What's up,
everybody?
Brandon and Andy here with Ginger Bros Dent Show, and we've got an exciting show tonight and a great guest, as always. So, first off, we want to talk about our sponsor real quick. You saw the before video of the X30. He does have that in a 20-inch version called the X20. Hang on just a second. I had this pulled up. So Nathan's got some promotions or whatever going on right now. So if you order 1,000 just regular business cards for $120, he'll give you an X30 or the X20, the pricing guide that stretches out that you just saw the video on, for free. If you order 50 of the PVC cards, he'll give you one of them for free, whichever one you want. And he has free business cards and unlimited logo with a full website or the optimized landing page. So the website's $14.99 built, and you get free business cards and stuff with that, or the landing page is $7.99. So we will we'll have his info and stuff scrolling across the bottom, periodically throughout the show. And at the end of the show, you'll see a short video of his info there too. So we really appreciate Nathan this month sponsoring us, and we didn't go out searching for sponsors, and he reached out, and we're trying to help him out the best we can. So the best thing you can do is, he's got those pricing guides that we showed you, and these awesome, pricing cards, business cards, PVC, plastic, like little credit cards. So go to his website and or call him, Facebook message him, and give him some business, guys. He's kind of slow right now, so right now is a great time. Jump on these promotions that he's doing, and take advantage of it. That's all.
Those are some really good promotions.
Yeah.
And those rollers, like I gave 2 out to my service advisors the other day, and they were impressed. They're like, "Holy cow! Like this makes it a lot easier." Like, yes, it does,
dude.
That's the key.
Mine stays right on top of my wife's desk in the office. And as soon as somebody pulls up, I grab that thing. I go outside. I did one today, and it's hard without a ruler or something. And having these things, it had 4 crease dents that were 9 inches. Had one that was 4 inches. So having that there right in front of the customer, they were like, "Why are you measuring this?" I said, "Well, this is how I price it out." And they were like, "Oh, That's pretty awesome. $2,500 job."
Perfect.
Instead of just like trying to, I guess it's going to be this much. No,
well, you look more professional when you bring it out too. Like people's like, "Oh, he's got his shit together." So
yeah, and you match that up. It's got the same pricing as your MT. Me, I use Mobile-Tech RX Paul Corden pricing guide on there, so it's got the same pricing as that. So I'm measuring it out while I've got all my phone out with Mobile-Tech RX and putting it all in there. And perfect. And it's. Man, they're asking you questions. You look professional, and it's awesome.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, we've got several people on here already. I'll start. All right, we got Corey Nichols. We got Leah Yeager. I love the Yeager family, man.
I know, they're awesome.
They keep following us.
Thank you guys so much.
Matt Armillo. Let's see, James Bernard's on here. Yes, sir. We are.
Michael Hernandez, John Krug.
Corey Nichols, he was definitely the first one to.
He is going to be on the show one of these days.
What's up? That's his first one. So Michael Hernandez. I don't know who this is. Hey, y'all go. Grant, go back in the description. Grant StreamYard permission to see your name, and that way we'll see who's actually
Sloth from the Goonies. Hey, you guys!
Oh, dude, I've got a great picture of me with a mask on, look just like him.
I think I've seen that.
John Krug, another Facebook user. Yeah, y'all go on there and grant permission. All right, so let's get
to the real deal.
We'll get the real deal. Mr. Dent Craft himself. That's Dent Craft with a K, not C. And one of the Dream originators here. So we want to welcome good friend of mine, and Andy's. Love talking to this guy all the
The
time.
nicest guy you'll ever meet.
One of the nicest guys you will ever meet and enjoy talking to, and you will get a lot out of it. And he's so busy. But anyway, pull him on right now, Mr. Don Kavanagh. What's going on, Don?
Hey guys.
Woo! Feel like I'm at a Braves game. Woo! Yes, and y'all see.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes,
The Braves. I love it.
Sir.
I love it. You know, those price guides are worth their weight in gold. I was kind of listening to you guys backstage here, and I'll tell you, I just love having something to back up what we do. You know, I use Paul Gordon stuff too, of course, and me and one of my brothers. But it's just amazing. It just takes all the play out of it. I mean, how many times did you guys walk out to a car? And this happened to me all the time. And you look at it for like 2 seconds, and you go, "That's gonna be $300." Hey, Johnny Krug. And they look at themselves, and they look at their car, and they look at their nice Rolex, and they're like, "You just profiled me." Like,
yeah.
You know, and you're like, "No, man, that'd be the same money for a Yugo or a Camry or something."
Geostorm.
The Geostorm, right? So I just love. I don't do what you do, Andy, and bring it out with me right away. So I'll walk back in. I say, "Hey, let me grab my thing. We'll figure it out." You know, then I'll go out with it. And the Mobile Tech one, right? And it's only 12 inches. I do love that goes out to 24 inches or something. That's
30
pretty,
inches, yeah.
Pretty
go all the way to
what
Mobile Tech RX reaches to 30 inches. So I had him create that one for 30 inches. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I just love going back out there and measuring it up. And then when we went from the phone to we got some iPads.
Mm-hmm.
The big ones. And so now I love to do it all in front of them, right? Would you agree that's 4 inches? Oh yeah. Would you agree this? Would you agree that? And you start punching it all in, and they're like, you know, and so now instead of 300, it's 458 or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started using that, it was so funny because people would be like, "Okay, well, let's go get it scheduled." And thank God they're behind me, you guys, because I'm walking to the schedule. I can't wipe the smile off my face. I was like,
yep.
You know, like I would have done that last week for 200, you know, like holy shit. Right. So we just got hey, Danny Ricky.
And Ricky.
So he's a good dude. That guy, I love Danny. He is the good.
And we still got the Facebook users coming on here and one said
what's
they're
good about
let's
talk about their
can't
price
they
guy
just
too.
Can't they just say their name too? Like
they
can
say
something, they can at least say, you know, who they are. But we've had that problem before too. But I love that. I love
the
that
price
tool.
guide.
It's so good.
You're not the bad guy anymore. The price guide is. You know what I mean? It's like, hey,
this
is what it is. This is standard. You know, so there's no
it,
arguing with
you
that.
know?
I know y'all are like me that for a long time, especially in the beginning, you know, I had this certain amount in my head, and this would be a totally different show, but you know, for me it was $400. I didn't, you know, it's like that's under 500, which is usually the deductible.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
And on jobs that I'm doing that I'm getting the money I should be getting, I was at $400 for so long, and it was going out there and just pulling a number out of your rear end. But having the Mobile Tech RX, and then now having these price guides too to kind of back up and measure while they're right there and explain to them, man, you're getting the money that you need to get.
It's really good, and I love being able to make that downshift too, guys. So you see their look on their face that it's 500, and they say, "Oh, I thought it was going to be 250." You know, I love going at that point because you'd be happy with 400 than 500, right? So I am so ecstatic to bring up a conversation at that point. Hey, you know, we had a cancellation on Friday, which is normally true. Everybody tries to cancel at the last minute. You hate that, but you say, "Hey, you got an opening on Friday. If you come in on Friday, we'll, you know, I can do it for $400, right? And I'll take $100 off. I'm a little closer to your number, and then maybe what we could do is we could just knock it out." But I said, I want to tell you a little disclaimer here. If you come next year and it's the same size Dent, it's back to $500. You're doing us a favor by filling our deal, and we're doing you a solid on giving you a little bit better deal. So just to let you know, I have to let you know that. And then they jump on it more. It's weird. Right. Just that little extra thing that you said was like, oh, this is an opportunity I need to grab. Right. So so I really love doing that with people, and I just love, you know, helping them out. And pretty soon you do with their friends and family, and you guys know how it grows from there, right? So
first off, Don, before we get to the main, you know, thing you're here for,
you
know, we're all about who is this tech beyond, Dentcraft? So I think let's dive into that first.
Sure.
And then we'll kind of go into the other things. So we want to know, or everybody watching wants to know, who is that Don Kavanagh outside of Dentcraft? What, you've got a great family, follow that all the time. You've got a great company. How long has Dentcraft been around? And then what do you like to do outside of the dent world as far as family and everything else you like to do?
Sure, absolutely. I am family first oriented. Obviously, I've got two wonderful boys. One just started college this year. Another one's a junior in high school that I have to dote on here just for a quick second. We won our section soccer game. So we had our first state game last night, and we won 6-0, which was super cool. So now we get to go to the U.S. Bank. Hey, Kev. We get to go to the U.S. Bank, which is the Vikings, stadium, and play next Wednesday and next Friday, and then we might just take this whole thing. But I'm just on seventh heaven, right? We got to live precariously through our children, right? So hey, right. Davey Detloff, a little extra from Dave Detloff,
always.
It's just funny. Who's this? Good evening, gentlemen. First time on. What's up, my brother? Hey, this has got to be Johnny Scotto.
Is that Scotto?
Oh,
John, go up there and grant StreamYard permission so we can see who's commenting. If this is Scotto, then that's
easy?
awesome.
Do you have to go back out and then come back in, or how do you do that?
Probably, but it's right there in the description. Just go in there. It takes just a second for them to do that, and you jump right back in. And if not, guys and gals, put your name in there. Where you're from. That way we know.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're just assuming it's a Scotto too. It might not even be.
And then he says, "I
didn't." You must. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's
weird,
up.
Weird.
Anyway,
well, there.
At least we know who it is now, though.
He's my brother. So, anyways, just to go back. So really family stuff, and so proud of my my older son at college and everything else. James Bernard, how are you? And so it's really about that, but we're really tight knit, our family, and it's always family first, of course, around here. But I love to go boating. We've got a boat. I love fishing. I love hunting. I'm a big hunter. I just got a call today that my bear's done. I shot a really nice bear last year, and my pheasants are done and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just excited to go add to my trophy room, and that's what I love. There's nothing better to be out in the woods and being in the quiet and really yeah, buddy. I have the best business ideas and things like that come to me when I'm in the woods, right?
You're right on with that.
It's crazy, right?
It's so quiet.
I have to figure everything out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so wonderful. Yeah. And I just love it. And there's something about, I don't even care if I even get anything. It's just so cool to, and a few of my friends started doing it because I was telling them the story firsthand, and they're starting to do pictures. They'll just bring their freaking camera because they don't want to hunt. They don't want to, and when I harvest something, we eat it. I'm not killing things to kill things. We freaking hunters and gatherers. Isn't that where we all came from?
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
And I get a kick out of people like, you hunt? That's terrible. Like, do you eat steak? Where do you think that cow came from? Like,
exactly.
Do you think it died of natural causes? I mean, I'm pretty sure it didn't, right? So you get people thinking, a little bit differently, but yeah, it's always family first
Andy.
for us and all that good stuff. Hey, Andy.
Oh, wait.
And just kind of fun, just kind of fun. So that's probably first, and then Dentcraft to come full circle. I started in '89, fooling around, and it was a couple of years. I was just a sole proprietorship, and then I incorporated in '91. Finally, when someone gave me the heads up, you need to do that. They're going to take everything you got if you don't. So if anybody's out there working in a sole proprietorship and working under your, I'm sure a lot of people aren't doing this, but I was naive. I didn't know. So if we can pass it on and help one of you, it's amazing. It's only like a couple $100 through state to actually get a incorporation or an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp or whatever you do. I'm an LLC now. I tried C Corp, I tried S Corp, and LLC seems to have the most benefits for me, but it protects me if I happen to get in a car accident and they take my first $100,000 and all of a sudden they need $1 million. I'm protected on a line that they can't come after me personally. And I didn't realize that. I was very naive as a young man in '89 and '90 before I incorporated. So please, guys, if you're doing this, even if you're doing it just part time, go get an LLC. You're going to have some benefits
yourself.
there. You're going to protect yourself.
And if you have anything with your company logo, name, or whatever on your vehicle, and you get in an accident, who do you think they're going to come after?
That's right.
So become an LLC, get incorporated. Yeah. That will protect you as a person and your family and everything else. They can only go after that business.
Absolutely.
That's
it's
it.
Just we can't think enough. And I've heard some horror stories, not in our industry, but other people like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Losing your house, losing all sorts of things.
My CPA, I wasn't incorporated the first, I don't know, four years or whatever. And 4 or 5 years. And my CPA kept saying every year, you really need to do this. You really need to do this. Finally, I was like, it was like $700 or whatever. But yeah, it was well worth it once I understood it. And I'm not anyway. So yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Become incorporated.
Yeah, so important.
It will protect you in the long run.
Yeah,
it will.
Don, I gotta ask. 1989 starting PDR. Like, where did you find PDR? Because it had to be like not many people doing that then.
So I was in the sandbox and we were playing with the Knicks, our neighbors, and we bashed our Matchbox cars.
I was 10 years old then.
I was 7.
Don's graduating.
Make you feel
graduating college. Yeah.
So I'm an older guy. So, awesome. But what was interesting is I was working at a service. I was working at I just saw the card the other day too. I think I sent it to someone. I was working as when I got out of college. I went to college for underwater welding and demolition. I was a underwater welder guy and DT work and things like that. And I just really loved that. And then I realized, it's pretty freaking dangerous, right? It's like, maybe this isn't the thing that I should be doing. And, but you're young and dumb, So I came home and I've always been a car guy since I was, in the sandbox playing with Matchbox. I mean, I've always just loved cars. So I got a job as a service writer at a Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Rolls-Royce dealership. And so I started writing for them. And there's an old German guy that comes in. And he says, hey, I do paintless dent removal. And I'm like kicking him out of there, I'm like, dude, we got a body shop right there. I don't know what you're freaking talking about, right? Like, what? Like take dents out of cars. So do we, whatever. And so, but I had to be careful because he drove a Mercedes as well. And so every other time he was having some service work done or he was trying to pitch his wares, right? And so anyway, one day he is probably his 5th time in. He says, Don, can you come out to my Mercedes for a minute? And I'm like, oh, sure. We walk outside and he opens up the trunk and he pulls out his hammer, that same hammer I used today, by the way. And he walks up to his back door and wham, puts a big dent. And I'm like, what the hell? And now we all do this. It's normal for us to do it now and it's fun, right? But then I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And so I back up and then he hits the front door too. And I'm like, this guy's crazy, And he goes, can I work right here? I just want to show you something. I don't think you're getting it. And I go, I definitely don't get it. You're crazy. And no, but you can pull to the back of the parking lot and do it back there. And so I couldn't think it'd even work at this point. I kept walking back and looking at him with the little rods and stuff. And I'm like, what? And so finally I saw the end result and it looked great. It really did. It was, it's not the eye that we have today.
Right.
Yeah. But it looked, I couldn't find it at that point. And so I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And so then I got it. And then we had damaged a car in service. And so I called him up and said, hey, can you come over and do this instead of us getting it painted? It'll be a quicker turnaround, blah, blah, blah. So he ended up coming in and making it look just great. And then my light bulb went off and I started on Thursday, setting them up. And it was 1, 2, 3. And then it started working out really well. And then the body shop guy didn't want to talk to me. He was super pissed at me. He's like, you're stealing from us. And I'm like, oh my God. And I knew this guy. I used to do lunch with him and everything at the dealership. And he went from not talking to me for a couple months, right? It was really ugly. And, but my service manager had backed me up and said, hey, it's working. We're making money off it. We're marking it up. This is cool. He saved us a few times. So about two months in, they had the 300 diesel. I don't know if you guys remember that boxy thing. You two probably don't, but Kevin Bird's listening. He remembers.
my dad's a mechanic,
so
I remember a lot of them.
yeah. It was just a boxy looking thing, right?
Yeah.
But they were trying to put a fender. They painted a black fender off of a car. They were putting it on, and they were trying to get it to sit right. And the guy had put his hand in it really good, kind of right in front of the front door, and he put a big soft dent in. So here comes the body shop manager. He's making eye contact with me, kind of like this, and he's like, "Hey, Don, can you call your guy?" And he was actually there, which was cool. And I said, "Absolutely." And so he came over and he did it, and then he did it for no charge, and then he got it because he realized that he would have had to keep that car over the next week. He would have to paint it again, and then the body shop was on board. So that's kind of a long story short. But then I started begging this guy. I said, "You need to train me. I need to do this. I need to be your apprentice. I need to do this." There's just, I can feel the pull. I think it's amazing. I love work with my hands. I was a welder and underwater construction guy. And I said, I just see a pull to this feature. So he said, "No way. I'm never going to train anybody else. Get lost. You just keep calling me for dents, And so I just, after persistency and not wanting to hear me a million times over again, he just finally gave up and said, "Okay, I'll do it." So. And that was basically it in a nutshell. So I'm very blessed to be that guy. His name was Jürgen Holzer, and he was one of the two guys that brought this to America, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
Lito and him brought it at the same time, and
that's cool.
And go ahead.
Don't you have a video maybe last year, a couple of years ago, where he'd come back by, and I watched that the other day, and seeing his little toolbox.
That's the same toolbox I've got. I still got that.
Dude, I'm like, it's like just a couple tools, and then like it's almost like a tackle box. So this is what it looked like to me. It's like a tackle box with a couple of tools in it, and you just hold and carry in. And I was like,
carry it in.
That's crazy.
His thing was body shop in a box. Body shop in a box. So that was what he did, and that's what we ended up doing. That's awesome. It was funny, man. We would fly all over. We would go to Beverly Hills, and we go down to Palm Springs, and we would go all over, and then they would say like, "Hey, there was just this guy here named Lito," and he, they were traveling the same circuit. It was weird. And so Danny Hecker, and Danny, I've been going back and forth, Mr. I love that he's in the glue world, right? So I can't wait to get to know him even better, right? But anyway, not to get off track. So we go down, and they'd say, "Well, Lito turned this one down, right? He turned this one down." So Jürgen and I would roll up our sleeves, and we would get that one done, and then we would go somewhere else, and he would turn one down. And then next time we go back, like 6 months later, "Oh, that one that you turned down, Lito did that one." So these guys had these guys, it's just so funny, And then I run into, of all people, Rick Hummert, right? So Rick, this is like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago at least, and he had his very first Dent, the curved tools, and he was in the back where we did PDR College. He was way back in there, and he had his first booth. And so I'm looking at these strange tools, which they're the best. Love Excalibur tools. My life is better awesome. Because of Rick. And Rick's amazing. I love Rick. He's just in every way, shape, or form a gentleman. And so I'm looking at his tools and stuff, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, "Who are you, man?" No, he goes, "Who are you?" And I go, "I'm Don Kavanagh." And he goes, or "I'm Don," and he goes, "Oh, okay. I'm Rick." And I go, "Okay." And now I'm like, "Well, what?" So Rick was Lito's first guy that Lito ever trained, and I was Jürgen's first guy that Jürgen ever trained, right? So now we're the second guys of the industry in the world, or in the US of A anyway, doing it for the, and we're like, "Holy shit, I remember you," and this and that. We start, and we start going back and forth because Jürgen had an apprentice, and so did Lito, basically. He's one of his first guys. And I need to go further with Rick on this now, years later, and have a great conversation with him about this. And we've talked a little bit about it, but so it was really cool. It was just really a neat conundrum and things like that. So we just really hit it off, and I just, if anybody doesn't have Excalibur tools, get out and do yourself a favor and get some of those in your hands.
Exactly.
So really good stuff, really great stuff. So
make sure you stop by like an MTE. Like Rick's really good about explaining all his tools. He came to our tech meet up, and he was on point with his tools.
Man, he had like cages of tools there,
yeah.
and just had it where you can just use whatever you want to, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Great guy.
Well, he's no fool. You use it and you're like, okay, I'll buy it.
That's how I did. I was like, oh, I like this.
Me too.
Yeah. It was so fun when Jurgen started coming by, and we had a big falling out for about 20 plus years.
Oh wow.
He and I were a great team for many years, and then he started training for less money, and in my contract it was he couldn't train for less money. You guys aren't going to even believe this, but it was $50,000 for 2 months when I trained with him. And that was and that was forever ago.
Now after talking with you, and
I was like, but honestly, I was so naive, you guys. I thought he was gonna, I was gonna hand him the $50K, and on top of it, I'll add this, then I'll digress. He wanted to have another $75,000 over the next 5 years. So he wanted 125 to start. So he goes, the first year you're going to make so much money, I want a $5,000 royalty. Second year, I want 10 grand. Third year, I want 15 grand, and then I want 25, 25. So I was like, I did all the math on that, and I go, that's an extra 75. What? 125 grand? How am I going to know that I'm going to be able to do this? Oh, you're going to be great at it. I can just tell, and all this stuff, And so, and I'm like, okay. But I honestly was so naive that I honestly thought that he was going to go, son, name of the Father, and the Son, the Holy Spirit. He was going to touch my shoulder somehow, and I was going to be good at that.
Light switch.
Not at all. It didn't happen, right? And I've told this story a few times, but we started with hammers, right? And I'm strictly a hammer guy. I pick up a knockdown once a month, if that, and it has to be right up next to a door handle or something. And even if it's up under its door handle, sometimes I can flip my tool around and still use my hammer. But what was funny was a dime-sized dent when I started would be a freaking watermelon by the end of the day, because I couldn't hit anything. It's like, 50 grand. Oh my God, what have I done? Like, holy shit.
Just cost 50 grand damage to the car.
It's totaled.
I am absolutely terrible at this, Now, of course, I could hit the, pin, whatever, but it was just so hard. And then it was like 10 years in, and I saw the first guy come in and did some hail with me, and he's got this thing that's called a knockdown. I'm like, that's freaking brilliant. Like, why didn't I think of that? Being a young 20-year-old kid, I'm like, what? This is weird, right? So anyway, learned a lot from then and since then, and all that stuff. Rick is awesome, Dave, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a funny story, but really fun. Hey Cliffy, how you doing, my brother? He's one of the best dudes in the world, right there.
Definitely.
Hold on, James Bernard, you're driving and watching us, boy. You're gonna wreck in a heartbeat. You better watch out.
You better just listen, James, instead of driving. So. But just fun. So I would just to resum that up, I'm just family first, and then my business and all that good stuff, and I like to play as hard as we work, and all that good stuff. So
well, we know you are, and I just wanted to kind of get you out there. And
absolutely, man.
So we're gonna kind of dive right into. Goodness, what was that noise? Maybe rain. I don't know. I was like,
maybe it's hail.
Squirrel. So we're going to dive right into the main reason you're here, Don, is because you and Dave Strain have come up with this amazing thing for our industry that's online. It's kind of like having MTE but online, and it's I was very blessed to be asked to be able to participate in the first Dream event,
and you knocked it out of the park. I'll add,
and it was a lot of fun. It really got a lot of the nerves out of my system, doing
Yeah.
a pre-recording and then doing it live. So it helped me with where I'm at today. So,
Awesome.
but then
There's
going
so
back
much knowledge in that thing too.
Oh my gosh.
God, the
It
knowledge
was
is
Isn't it
amazing.
crazy?
Yeah, I
incredible.
loved it.
So now we have Dream 2 coming up. And so we want to kind of give you the floor on that. And first off, how did you and Dave come up with this whole entity, this whole, thing of the Dream, package event type thing?
Cool. Great question. So basically, we went back to school. So I was talking to Dave and Gene and a bunch of people, and I had heard about this thing called Strategic Coach, and this guy named Dan. Hey Timmy, how you doing, brother? He's going to come in and get trained, Tim Green. So he's coming to see us. So yeah, he's going to be good. So LOL. When I trained with Kaz, I felt the same down. I thought we were no way I could do this. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it the truth? Like, what the hell? But if it was easy, none of us would be where we are today, right? I mean,
yeah.
I love that there's a challenge involved and everything to do with it. I'm built weird too. Like, I've called 3 dent companies and they all say it's impossible. Come on over. Here's the address. I mean,
I'm the same
I want to do the worst stuff that people don't think's possible. That's my deal. I love that crap. I just love doing dents. I love pushing on dents. I love pushing on metal. But to come full circle, basically, we went back to school and we decided we would join this. It's about 15 grand a year with travel and all the expenses. And we're in our 3rd year now. We both got about 45 grand into this because we're dent guys first, right? And we don't really understand what business really is. And so with going to this Dan Sullivan, he's the biggest, he's been around for like 40 years. He's the biggest well-known business coach in the world. So it's crazy, guys. We there's quarterly meetings. We read about 14, 15 books per quarter. It's like 60 books a year for me, you guys. Before this,
they have pictures.
Give me a car and driver, and I'm in for 2 pages on the new Corvette. And you can ask me and quiz me 6 months later. I'll tell you what motor's in it. I'll tell you everything. And the first book, I thought I made a big mistake. I mean, I was like holy shit. I was reading like the first book, and I'd read like the full chapter, and being then a ADD guy, right? So I read every word. I turned the page when I should, but I'm thinking about the big buck I dropped last week. Like, that was a nice deer, like no comprehension at all, like zero, like, oh my God, I just paid like 15 grand. I better figure this shit out, So it's like 10 grand a year, but then with travel expenses, like 50 grand.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm learning all this stuff, and then it was really cool because I was talking to Dave one day, and I go, Dave, I'm in over my head, bro. I'm not comprehending this stuff. It's just not me, And he goes, hey, let me tell you what I learned was how to read for the first time. And I'm like, I think I read it and learned how to read when I was about 2 years old. You know what I mean? I'm the same way down with reading. Yeah. Jackie, I got some really cool things, and I thought I'd share this with you, but I'll share it with everybody. Perfect. So Dave said, what you got to do is you got to get the book, you got to get the Audible, and then when you hear the word, you're reading the word, and you're listening to what you're saying. So you got 3 different faculties working. Immediately I was comprehending every single thing I was reading. It was like amazing.
Wow.
Like blown away. So when I get a book that doesn't have Audible, I got to stay in it. And there is a few that I have to read there, and I'm getting better at that too, because my self-consciousness, or not my self-consciousness, but my conscious is state of mind can do better now that I've read so many books. But it was amazing because it really opened my eyes to business. And I started learning a lot about how the internet works, and I understood business a lot better because these are some of the best guys in the world teaching you these things. And you've got like 40 entrepreneurs that you're with that are completely amazing people as well. And you have all these breakout rooms, and you get to really know people like we're doing here, and you start bouncing things off each other. And it's funny because we're in PDR. We didn't really understand any other type of business, right? But it's amazing how many other businesses can actually come back, and actually we have a lot of stuff that are the same, don't we? Like advertising, and understanding what to do and how to do it and all that stuff. So we became so ingrained with what we were learning, and I opened up a portal in my brain that we're just starting our 3rd year of coach, and it's the coolest stuff. And I would recommend it to anyone listening that really wants to go back to school. It's like you're in college again. It is kind of overwhelming, but once you started learning, it's like, now I can't get enough of it. I'm constantly learning more and more and more, and we're bringing ourselves to new levels, and it's really cool. So I highly love that. So basically, one of the questions we had in the group was, what do you think you could do for your industry that might make a big difference?
What's up, Dave?
And it was cool. Hey, Dave White, my brother, and Dent family. And so it was probably one of the Anson peeps, maybe. But maybe, I don't know. And so it was really interesting because it made you think outside the box, makes you think differently, all that stuff. And we were like, what's missing? Because we all love MTE. Mm-hmm. And this is nothing to do with any replacement of that. I love the hugs and the shakes and the high fives and having a beer. And I think there's more stuff learned at the damn bar at night for me than
it's more personable.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. And then, the last 2-3 years, I've always spoken at the MTE events, and we've held events and did different things, and I've been involved with different guys, and MME, I'm always speaking at those with Mike and John when those guys were together, and I just really love learning and helping each other, and it gets me off. I mean, when someone calls me and says, Don, I just did this, and this, and it worked, and for me, it's weird, but it makes my day. It's like, oh my God, I just was able to touch someone, you know what I mean? And how did I learn that? From all my damn mistakes over the last 32 years. And I don't want people to make the same damn mistakes, right? So the whole idea was about really bringing that full circle and trying to get a platform where all the great guys could come in. And there's so many hundreds of more guys that we need to get involved in this, of course.
Yes.
But the first 40 we have speaking are some of the best of the best. And this year, super stoked. We've got some really great guys coming up here. And Kevin Halewood is one of them, the guy that none of us would even know each other without Kevin Halewood.
Speaking of,
nice.
That's the one that's for Kevin that we've got that will be at Orlando.
Nice.
Nice. Hopefully if we still have it this year.
Right.
I mean, and it will be. Yeah. It'll happen.
Yeah.
And so just to give back and really understand it. And then we started realizing that only 4,000 or 5,000 people at the best show has come to MTE. And it's like, what's missing is, and I understand why only that many people come. And that's a big group. That's fun, super fun, great.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never be a replacement for that. But what we realized real quickly was, and you guys know this too, is if you're a one-man show, maybe even a two-man show, and you're, in Iowa or wherever you might be, and you have a route account or you have a, whatever you have, retail, it doesn't matter. You're kind of tied to that job. You need to be there, and people count on you, and they call you at the last minute, and you want to be, you're their fireman. You need to put out their fire for them, right? So if you're gone for 5 days, going down there, and maybe you've got your business up to $400 a day, maybe you've been doing it for 10 years, and you're making $1,000 a day, whatever your thing is, you can't make up for that money's lost. You just can't do it. So physically, you want to come, you want to see all the new shit, you want to do all that stuff, but you physically can't do it. So we know we can grow this to 20, 30,000 guys over, maybe it's going to take 10, 15 years. I have no idea, but there's so much there to be learned from each other with sharing and different stuff. So that's kind of what we thought, well, geez, now we can get, the UK can't fly over here. It's a couple grand. And then you're going to, it's going to be a 10 grand trip, it's just all these different things that just don't physically work. So we just thought this is going to be perfect. People can learn online at their own pace. And, and what's really cool about these speeches, I want all you guys to know, these speeches are so cool because if you listen to them one time, you might not actually get something out of it, but it's like watching a movie a second and third time. You start going, stuff. I didn't even, realize what, and so when you listen to them 3-4 times, they're only 10-15 minutes long anyways, you come away with like, holy crap, this is really good. I can use that or I can't. I'm not saying that you're gonna come away with every single speech and go, this works for me. But for me, there was about 5 or 6 speeches last year. 32 years in, guys, boom, I wasn't doing some of these things.
Right.
I'm like, I thought I had really kind of thought I had made every mistake there possibly could be, and I learned from my mistakes, right? Never saying I'm good at anything. I just try to hang in there and learn from all you guys. And I think that's so cool. I think that's really, really, I just love everybody to focus on knowing that you don't know everything, because it's so important that way. Like I train a lot of guys, right? I've trained 125 Dent techs, and I've got 3-4 more coming in next month to train. And I never really push this. They have to find me, but I love doing it. I really do. But I can learn something from a guy that's coming in the first day. He can't even remove a damn dent yet, and he's doing something. He goes, "Hey Don, can I try this?" And I'm like, freaking brilliant. Yes, you can. You just learn from someone who can't even take out a dent, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, that's a freaking great idea. Like it's just weird. And it's just who we are as people. And we just have to do these things. We just need to be open and be, charismatic of everything. And I see Danny popping in here. I'm super excited about Dan's speech. Dan is going to be talking about scanners and different things and how, the differences of all that. That is such a big thing. I mean, we're starting to be able to charge for all that stuff, before and after scans and all that stuff. And it's money we're leaving on the table. And Dan's a professional at that and really understands it way more than I do. So I know I'll learn a lot from Danny, right?
But you're not just leaving it on the table. It's something that we've got to do now with these late model vehicles, because I scanned one the other day that wasn't showing anything, but this was a brand new vehicle that had about 5 codes thrown through it, and one was airbags, and I'm like,
that's scary.
No. This is a Porsche Macan.
Oh God,
no.
Everyone is going to want to listen to Danny's speech, because Dan. I was just talking to Dan last week, and I go, Dan, I said, we had a Ford. I think it was a Ford, and this was like a year ago, and I pulled the taillight out, and I didn't want to rotate the key. I wasn't trying to do that, but I had the taillight unplugged, and typically if you don't do that, you're fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to start the vehicle and pull it forward to get another vehicle in the shop. Bad mistake. Freaking, it was lit up like a Christmas tree. There was like 14 codes on a taillight.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Crazy.
Thank God I had the 906 Autel, to fix these problems. But it's just so cool but we're leaving money on the table every day. We're doing things and that we can all learn from one another and to give it back. And so what we did, Barry, Don, does your mentoring group make you want to stop PR and push other types of businesses? So does your mentoring group? A little bit, but I love. No, I'm just reading it. I'm just trying to get it now. Don, does your mentoring group make you want to? It does. It does a little bit, but I actually love taking dents out. I just love that, Barry. It's something about doing the actual physical labor. I just came back. I've been actually working from home for the last 10 months. And working on these other different businesses that I have. I have a few without Dave, and then this dream event is with Dave. But and it's funny how I got back at it on Monday, and I've done a couple of pretty nasty dents, and boy, do I suck. So and what I mean by that, I'm definitely glassing them out still, but I'm spending an hour to 2 hours more per dent than I did, when I was in my prime. So it'll probably take me another month to get back, but I'm happy at the end results. But it's not pretty. It's slow, and it's like, what the hell? But that being said, but no, I just the reason we came up with this is to really get it into everybody's hands, to lift everybody up. It's amazing what we can learn from one another. And I think that once we have the camaraderie, and this is where it's coming from the heart, once we have this camaraderie, which we already do, and which Kevin has set up through MTE, and don't we have any unique business, guys? Do you think your plumber friends know any other plumbers? Do they know any other electricians? Do they hang out?
They do, but they hate them.
Yeah, right.
Ideas how to unclog the poop,
I know.
They don't care. There's so many of them, and we've got such a unique, nice thing here.
I just know that the knowledge I got from the first one, being a part of it that morning, I missed so much. I just had a hailstorm hit here. I had Randy Hobson and Rodney Vance show up the day before. So, one, it was a blessing because Randy helped me video the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I got to go back and watch videos the speakers that I wanted to hear that morning while I was doing the live repair. But then for 30 days, got to go back and listen. I still didn't listen to everybody I wanted to just because I got busy. But that's part of the Dream 2 event is even now you go on and buy your ticket or whatever now. Well,
we got a surprise.
We got a surprise for that.
Yeah.
So you go on
there's
now
more.
And you get you get all of the last event now. I've already gone on and watched several videos that I missed the last time.
Nice.
So with that being said, do you want to lead into what y'all are offering right now?
Yeah. So we have changed it up completely. We want to give. So if you guys haven't noticed, I think Andy mentioned this afternoon.
Got my email.
All the money is coming back to you guys. We're giving all the ticket sales, which is too much to even, it makes me shiver. We're giving all the money back, and same thing with all of the vendors and exhibitors that, had our back on the first one. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be on a different platform now. And Matt from Get a Grip, what a freaking stud guy. I love Matt. And we had a heart-to-heart the other day, and I just love everything he does. These strong arms and everything that Matt has to offer is freaking the bomb, right? So, and he's just a great guy. But he kind of shared with me, he knows computers. He builds computers on his spare time. He's brilliant, and I'm not. I have a hard time turning mine on, right? So, but it's so cool that Danny. So what's cool about what he was explaining to me is Matt said, Donnie, he said, this isn't the perfect platform, and we didn't know. We talked to 3 or 4 or 5 different platform people, and you get sold a lemon sometimes, right? And he was getting kicked out, and he was explaining that to me, and I was like, oh shit, no one had shared that with me. I knew that guys were having problems with their phones on the first day, and then we said, hey, this time we'll do it with your laptop, and there'll be a bigger bandwidth or whatever they call it. Again, it's over my pay grade. But you could stay in it. You could jump into these different rooms and stuff. But Matt explained it like he needed to explain it to me as a kid, as a 3-year-old, because I put Matt as a master in college here with what he knows, and I appreciate him every bit of it, and I love the honesty and the truth of that. So I was like, oh shit, So we just realized this platform probably isn't what it is. We had like 525 people on the first one. We have 1,000 plus on the second one, and it was building quickly. And it was like, this is going to be more of a problem, I think, than it's not going to be. So I talked with Dave. What we were going to do originally was we were just going to push it off a few months and all the other stuff that's happening on the internet right now. And we thought, you know what? Screw that. Let's come full circle. Let's do this differently. And I talked with Dave, and we decided that what we would do is just give. So right now, if you go on dentrepair.com, you don't even need to buy a ticket. Everybody's been refunded their ticket. Now you can go in right away, go up to the top. It says watch speeches. Click on that, and you're in right now tonight for free, watching this stuff and watching the first 20. And we're going to be loading over the next couple of weeks. Now the 13th isn't going to happen now, guys. The live event for Dream is not happening, so we apologize. We're not going to have the breakout rooms, but we might have been setting ourselves up for a little bit of disaster there. So we're all about give. So everything's going to be free. It's going to live forever, and it'll build over the years. And please tell everybody about it, because this is free information for you guys to hear from about 40 people to really drive your business up And all we want from you guys is maybe a little feedback on how that might have helped you, like, hey, this is this. And then possibly, a year from now when we do it again, probably go back to a paid thing, but we'll actually have a different platform. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Whether Dave's doing it alone or I'm doing it or whatever, this is all the things that we need to figure out, but or together. But it's just one of these things that we just want to give. So we're giving all the money back to all the vendors and the exhibitors, as well as all the attendees. And if you guys are seeing your money coming back, don't panic. Be happy that you got your dough back. And you still got everything. And instead of having 30 days to study all these things, you can actually take your time and rewatch them, please, because you're going to get so much out of it. So free. And then all the vendors will have a couple of their specials or whatever on there, but we asked them all to go talk a little bit about their business and how they, how they started and what their vision is for the future and these types of things. So we'll have a couple extra videos in there for that. And then we'll have a direct link to their, to their tool company, because I think we all realize, you were talking about that earlier, that little box that Jurgen had. Well, those are the same tools I had. We made all our own tools for 10 years. We go to junkyards, we pull trunk springs, and we made all our own tools. This is what we did. And then to get into some of these cooler ones, it's like, wow, stand liners changed my life. Every tool manufacturer's changed my life. You know what I mean? A1 makes some great stuff. Anson's just my family. They're doing amazing stuff. Ain't
it A1's 30th anniversary too?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's awesome. Love those guys. They're super cool
excited about Maria's speech. Maria's one of the speakers this year, and she's going to tell her story. She's going to tell her story and how positive she is and what she's been through. And
she's been through a lot.
She's just so spiritual, this woman. I'm just so proud of her. And I just, it's just
they're one of their daughters is I can't remember how many kids they have. I do follow her, but one of them's graduating. Okay, so one of them's graduating this year. My oldest one's graduating this year. She just posted about we're all into the applying for college right now and going to do these college tours and stuff. And Harding University is a Christian college that my kids go to a Christian school, and Harding is in Arkansas. But it's a very good school, college, university. Well, they just went and took the tour. So I was like, well, my daughter's been accepted there too. And I said, I don't know if she wants to go there, but she's like, oh, it'd be so exciting if they both went there and got to know each other. I said, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. But
be really cool.
But it's just it makes it a small world is where I'm getting with that. But as far as the dream, man, the first one, I wish so many more people would have been involved with it, because it would have paid for it and stuff like that, because I got so much out of it.
Same here.
You did a great job.
Look, and I know there's stuff going on out there, but I want to say that I was asked if I wanted to do a live dent repair on a bigger smash, and to get me more acclimated in front of the camera was to do a pre-recorded one. I learned a lot on just a pre-recorded, because it took me almost 8 hours of filming just to do 3.5 hours of a live dent repair.
Well, all those F-bombs had to be cut out.
And the camera, the lights falling over and everything.
Tools flying through there.
And so it was, hold on, this is funny. Somebody said we look a lot alike, sound a lot. Heck yeah. I'm from Alabama. He's from Tennessee.
How about their smiles, you guys? These two are so infectious. Like, they just both got great big smiles. I love it.
Like you said, we're blessed like you are, man. We're just happy and blessed, though.
And
we're all blessed. We're all blessed, right?
I love talking with Don. So where I was going with that is what?
Can I just
my wife
say,
said
Donna,
it's 2 a.m, and I'm like, are you coming? Oh, from when I was doing the video repair, it took me to like 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh, Mandy,
to get that done,
for putting up with us.
And that wasn't even the editing part of it. That was just the filming and the dent repair itself. But anyway, I saw somebody comment at one point that the speakers and all that were paid to do this.
No,
Nobody was paid. This is all the
Nobody.
speakers, me,
Not
everybody.
you either. No.
Yeah, no, it was all, just we were asked to do this, to provide this. There's nothing beneficial other than just the honor of being on there.
Not a dime.
And yes, look, I was just happy to do it. I was excited about it. I was scared to be in front of a camera, but I'm like, I'm doing this crap,
Right.
And it was awesome. So,
and all the speakers are great enough to, like you and yourself and all the other speakers are great enough to just take their time out to do that. It's amazing. That shows you the great people we got in this industry, and you guys pick some amazing people to do their speeches and stuff. So,
and what's so cool is to give. If you give, you get more back. And my dream, I know this is going to sound super corny, but my dream, honestly, is what I'm going to do in the next 10 years. I'll just go on record here. I just want to bring up, Gene's exactly.
I love that clothes.
Protractor clothes. That is freaking awesome. I call Gene Easy. I don't know if you guys like that, but Gene Easy when I call it.
Yeah, look, David even comment. David White. Nope, it was all free.
Oh yeah, no. Well, Dave just didn't get his check, but
David, I'm calling you. See how much you got paid, brother.
So
that's awesome.
But Gene Easy's
Gene's on here.
Yeah, I didn't see he was commenting earlier.
So Gene and I actually have done some events before together, and I enjoy him so much, and I love his passion for the industry and everything that Gene does. And we actually ended up at a big seminar up at PDR Canada. Gene and I, a bunch of us went up to Dom. Dom had an event, and we had like 45 people, and I had to do big body line smashes and stuff, and it was super fun to do that and show guys how to unlock, some ugly stuff, and it was just super fun. And Gene talked a lot as well, and it was just, we're just bringing it. So it's just a much different type of. This is much different than a seminar. This is those things you always pay for, and yes, Gene and I got paid for those types of things. That's completely different. But this is all free. All the speakers speak for free. All the demos are free. Everybody's just giving back to the industry that's given so much to us. And when you talk to guys, they're like, in a minute, I want to do this. I want to give. I want to, I wish and pray that I had someone like this when I was at 3 to 5 to 10 years. I didn't even know there's another guy in the world that was doing this until 10 years, except the guy I was with. Like, what are we doing? So. But it's just so fun to be able to take. There's guys that were reaching out to us. We had 88 people. What we did wrong last year is we sent out the surveys, and we did it on the second day. We should have done that on the 30th day, right? But at least we did have 88 people. You learned. We all are learning, aren't we? Aren't we? Like, what? Oh my God! So 88 people.
I think I told you guys that it was a growing pains. I mean, your first one, you're not going to know what to expect. So you got to go through the growing pains, and it's just going to continually get better.
Yeah. Exactly. So we know to send that later maybe, but it was so cool because 88 people spilled their heart out, and they're like, some guys were 20-year techs, some guys were 2-year techs, and all the way in between, but they're all like, hey, I'm getting 5 more cars a week now. I'm understanding the more I'm understanding how to get rid of some shitty clients. I'm understanding how to talk to insurance adjusters better. I've just landed an account that I've been trying to get into forever because now I had the verge to do so, and how to do that, and 20 other speeches, right? So it was just so cool to hear back from guys. And like I say, I learned from 5 or 6 of these guys. Like, what have I been leaving on the table? Like, are you kidding me? So just really, really interesting. But it's just so fun to feel that and hear people coming back and saying, Gene's speech was amazing. And I learned something from you, and I learned something from, everybody in the room. That's just super cool, So you guys can go on right away, right now, when you're done with this, dentrepair.com. And thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Cliffy. and just go on there and start listening to these speeches, and don't move on. Now, we don't have a time limit anymore. This is going to run forever. You don't have to worry about
more awesome.
You don't have to worry about 30 days. You can just go on dentrepair.com. You can click on it. You can actually get in there. We're probably going to change it to Dent Repair Expo and more, because that's what DREAM stood for. It was kind of silly. I think it was too difficult. People like, DREAM, what? Dent Repair Expo and more. It just got a little,
an acronym.
I mean? So an acronym, but it was like DREAM. Okay, well, I guess it works, but but really, it's just all about giving back and learning from one another. And my dream, I started this a second ago, but my dream is to really, the next 10 years, I want to do everything possible to put PDR on the map. I am so mad, and not mad, but so disgusted or unimpressed with 8 out of 10 people come in my front door and have never heard this before. Right. I've been doing this 32 years. I've been doing this my whole life, and I can't believe how the naiveness of it all. And I just want to be one of hundreds. Hopefully, everybody that sees the dream and gets inspired, and everybody else that's passionate about it, that can bring this up, because I believe once that happens, there's going to be, and not picking anybody that doesn't, but more brick and mortars, I think, are going to help all of us in the long run. Because when an adjuster comes to our shop versus a guy that's in a tent down the road, and he says, well, you want $600 for that rail? Those guys want $197, and it's the same storm, like, well, it isn't going to be $197, and we're going to get the $600. And I absolutely love doing this with guys. They're like, oh, well, can't pay that. I'm like, hey, no problem. We'll conventional that. Let's go to the next panel. I don't have much time. I got 30 cars in here. So, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, what do you mean? Wait a minute. You're not going to pay the $600. You want to pay $197. You're going to paint that. Let's move on. I don't even want to argue with you. You kill them with kindness, right? Dude, it's fine. It's all good. They expect you to argue with them. I don't do that anymore. We had so much fun. Yeah, we don't have to. It was 2-3 years ago when we had Paul Corden, Tim Corden, and Cliff Atkins, and Ray Sapnew, and myself, and Dan, and Troy at the shop, and Randy Hobson was there, and we just
all-star cast.
We called it the what did I call it?
That's kind of like the dream event right there.
It is.
Dream team.
I think I called it the dream team.
The dream team right there.
Exactly what I called it. And it was so great because we all played off each other so well. And it was like, hey, no problem. You know what I mean? That's when we were really getting into that pad, That's a bad name. They all thought we were, not price a dent, because we'd write pad on there, $400 dent. Like, that didn't go over well with the insurance company. But we just realized, hey, we just extreme dent. How about that? Maybe better. But I learned from all those guys, and we all learned from each other. And I think it's so cool to work with some of the best, because you always pick something up. And exactly. I want to challenge everyone listening. If you think you're that good and you can't learn anything from someone else, it will be the last day you'll learn a damn thing. So try to be open to this stuff. Like I was saying, I can learn from a goddamn guy that can't even remove a dent on his first day of training. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Like I just challenge everybody to put their ego aside, and, all that stuff. It's all about,
keep your mind.
It's not about today. It's not about today. Right. But the more brick and mortars we can have, and things like that, I think we can start commanding more money. I think more people are going to recognize the differences between a body shop, because it's always the first stop, damn it. The first thing it says on my website is, let us be the first stop before the body shop. Right? It's just, come on, like, we should always be the first stop.
Right.
But then talking with Chris White, and going really deep, we were having a great conversation with Kiko, and I said, I just see this being, we should, even with collision, even if it's messed up paint and all that stuff, if we can get in there and make that awesomely close, and it still needs paint, but we just saved a unibody from being cut off a freaking car, we should be paid accordingly. Even though it looks like crap, we should be paid $1,000. Who cares that it took us 4 or 5 hours to do it? Yeah, we just saved a 30-hour repair of replacement alone, just in the labor, not even talking about the part, right? So there's just more avenues to open that we haven't even started really exploring as much as, we all do a few of those now and again, but there's nothing but up for all of us.
So it all goes back to having that mindset, but networking with your local techs too.
Most definitely.
Talking with Kevin about this a lot. You got to break through that mentality of, well, I can't do this, so I'm not going to recommend this job to the other dent guy down the road. And I have this conversation with another group that I'm involved with too, and it's you're going, just because you referred that customer at that time because you couldn't do that type of dent does not mean that you won't get that customer back down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Because all you have to do explain to them is, I can't do that. I can't repair it to the quality that you need right this second because I'm newer to this. This guy can. Down the road, when they have another dent, they'll still reach out to you. Maybe by that time you can do that type of dent now.
Right.
And instead of the mindset of, well, if I can't do it, I'm not going to send it down the road, and
do
telling the customer that the only way that can be done is by going to a body shop. And once we get out of that mindset and we start working together, it's so much better.
Oh,
it really is. And like Josh Roberts said, you've got to be a mentor and a student every day, and that is correct.
Oh, I love that.
That's so on point right there.
Yes,
because none of us, even you, Don, as long as you've been in it, you're always learning. As long as you're out there, if you have the mentality of, well, I can't learn anymore, I'm the best there is. No, you're not. I promise you, there's somebody out there who's doing it even better than you are. I'm the same way. There's somebody out there doing it even better than I am. And anyway,
always learning.
And Don, I just want to personally thank you and Dave for doing this. This is huge.
Yes.
I know you guys got countless hours into this event and stuff. So the time you spend in this to let everybody have this knowledge and everything, that's huge, man.
Yeah, not just the time. I know by talking with you, y'all got a lot of money in this.
Yeah, that too, definitely.
It's not a thing that y'all have gone out and just with us. Even the first event, paying this event, and I've talked to you, and I hated that y'all were going to refund the money and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know
we just thought it was the right thing to do, and at this time, and all this crap, and but it's all good. It's all good. So.
You're right.
It'll come back around.
It'll make it even bigger.
It'll make it even bigger. I'm sure it will. And it's really about sharing. We would have had maybe 1,000, 1,500 in the room. And now I believe it's going to reach 20,000 people, probably within a year. You know what I mean? How things grow on the internet, right? So
this gives these people
now we have a chance to fix it for everybody. And Olga and Vitaly are some of my best friends, and I'm involved with you probably see that if you ever go to their website. I'm part of that group, and I just love Glexo and everything that they're doing. And we've got probably 10, 15 tools that'll be coming out next year that are my specialty tools that I've made back in the day, and I've never shared them. And Glexo's gonna be making those for us, and we got some really cool other stuff that is in the works as well with them. But it's really about talking with those guys. Sorry, someone must be here. I got a couple of loud dogs. Ruff. But it's interesting how it's really about that. It's about giving. It's about collecting. It's just so fun, and I just love the aha moments. I mean, when I'm training, or if someone maybe gets something from this, right? And learn something from one guy. You know what I mean? And watches you, Brandon, unlock one of those nasty dents last year. They're gonna go, I wouldn't have done it that way. Isn't that interesting? You know what I mean? Like maybe I would have gone after the crown first instead of going after the thick of it. And it's interesting how we all take something so differently. I can't tell you how many years I wasted on a body line hit, and I would spend maybe 20 minutes, a half hour with my hammer, just and taking care of the buckle of the eyebrow, right?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that close to the body line. It really wasn't causing it wasn't releasing something, like some dents of course are, and you want to release that buckle first, but in a couple of these scenarios, you'd beat them all down. You have all these micro lows, right? And you take out the dent on the body line. It turns out great, and then you have all these micro lows to take care of, and you realize that the whole thing's low, and you're like, I wouldn't even have had to tackle that damn eyebrow. Like, are you kidding me? Right. So we all learn from all these different things, and so I just love, and you guys probably do this anyway, but for the younger guys, really, I'm talking to now, when you're after a dent and it's not moving, that's the time to start going and pounding down your eyebrows and your buckles and your things like that. But if it's moving really good with your tool, just keep tooling it. Now, when it gets to the point where you're seeing a pinprick or it's getting a little bit tight, then go over and go back. And again, I'm talking to the young guys here. Just try to go backwards and then, release that pressure and then come back to it. There's something about the game of a really nasty, especially if it's like 6 or 7 really wicked shit, ooh, I gotta be a detective here. Like, this ain't moving, but this is. I'm gonna do this, and then all of a sudden, ooh, that's moving softer. That's what it's all about. It's a game. It's just
you gotta play chess, not checkers. It's a chess game, not a checkers game.
Yeah. But sometimes you just get antsy. You're like, oh shit, let me just go for all of it. You're like, and it's just like Andy said, and we're gonna have him on at some point. If you're not following Andrew Ray, or I think he's changed his name now to Andy Ray.
Andy Ray.
But
can't be two Andys.
Dude, he does some of the cleanest work and videos. If you're not following him, follow him and watch.
I don't think I am. I will go do that. We're buddies. I think we're buddies, but I don't think I
go watch his stuff. It's AMG Dent Repair.
Good job, Andy. Good job, brother.
He is phenomenal and just one of the most down to earth guys.
Nice.
Nice. So but yeah, it's like in my pre-recorded. I know I said that in the pre-recorded video on the Dream event. Rodney Vance joked to me. He's like, if you wouldn't talk so much, you could have fixed that dent a lot faster. I'm like, yeah, I know that. I talk a lot, but I'm doing it because I'm in front of a camera by myself, and I'm like, I want to get this out there. But it's like, even on the big dents, small dents, each one is different. So there's no set way to just go after this one dent right here. I don't care what it is. It's a big
snowflakes.
There's no set way. So each one is different. I may can go fast at one. I may have to go real slow at one. They're all different.
They are.
Once you learn that and just get that in your head,
it's like that super sharp dent, and you try to go after it, and you're like, I'm not going to knock down these shoulders. What Andy said made sense, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to open that up. I always tell the guys that I train, if it's a V, open it to a U, and then you're going to push that out longer. Now, the last thing you want to do in your first 1 to 3 years is take a dime-sized dent and make it a freaking golf ball or a tennis ball. You don't want to, but Andy's point was perfect because sometimes you can fix it faster, right? So you open it up, just commit to it. It doesn't matter. Open it up until you can push that softly and do it that way. And you're going to make a lot more damage, but you're going to fix it a lot cleaner and quicker and faster. And you'll kick yourself in the ass to try to work on a deep dent for, an hour. And then all of a sudden you hear that, oh, I cracked that bad boy. That was fun.
That's what
not good. Not good.
That body line dent I showed you earlier. That's what I had to do. I had to open that thing way up because it was so sharp. I mean, you're sitting there doing it like, why? My God, I got to make this
just commit, right?
I was doing an estimate on a Silverado. It was a little short wheelbase, yellow. It's supposed to be a factory color. I've never seen this color on a Silverado, but it was one of these. It kind of looked like the Chevy version of the Dodge Viper truck,
Sure.
Yeah. So
it was Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know where he just bought it like this. But anyway, right at the top, this was a 2011-ish model.
Okay.
So, on the bedside, how the body line around the fender wheel, the wheel well is up high. Well, it was buckled in the front up there. And I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I said, the only way that happens is if this side's been hit at some point and has has shocked this. And so I'm looking all over this thing, and I couldn't find any other evidence of it. I'm like, how the heck did this happen? So I found 4 little tiny dents, and I'm looking, I'm going all around it. And finally I looked down at the bottom from a different angle below the wheel well down there, and I see this giant crown. And I said, that's it right there. And so I changed my pricing on there. I said, I told you that's what, something hit this from the bottom, or somehow the bed shifted to the front and has just squished this and created this high, up here up top. And once I found that, he's like, I never saw that. I'm like, well, it just took me just kind of walking around it to see this. And I knew something had happened, but it was finding exactly what happened. But he loved that. And
nice.
So it was a great sale.
We got to be detectives once in a while. You got to kind of almost like, how did this happen? And I hate when they say that, don't you guys? How'd this happen? Yeah. I don't freaking know. I can take it out. I don't know.
Can you pop it out for me?
I had a dude had a driver's side rear door the other day, caved in. I was like, he's like, I don't even know when it happened. I was like, how did you walk past it every time you get in your? How did you not know what happened when?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. One thing I touched on, and then when you guys asked a question, I can get back to it. So with Glexo, what's interesting, and I was talking to Olga and Vitaly, and they said, you know what the problem is over here? We can't even afford, like $35 for a ticket or $25 a ticket. The technicians over there are amazing in Russia, but the average Russian guy makes about $600 a month US. Oh, wow. So it's not what we think everywhere in the world. So with this dream event, we thought it would be amazing to share it with all these guys that maybe couldn't actually afford to be there, right?
That's awesome.
And same thing through the UK, and there's some areas there that there's some really great guys. And we had like 12 countries last time, and it was super cool. We only had a few for each one, but now I think we can reach the whole world. And there's some third world countries that are even doing some amazing work. And you guys have seen some of their stuff. It's like, you fix that? Yeah. Like what? Like holy shit. So all these guys can be involved now. Everybody can do it. Everybody, just give, and if you give, you receive. And I think the receiving is, of course, knowledge and learning from each other and anybody that else wants to share. But I think we have so much to share collectively through all the Dent guys that are here. And then you get these conversations going. I swear that at MTE, there's more learned at the bar than there is walking around the show, right? Like you're like, holy shit.
Well, even at the first dream event, the virtual bar was awesome. Like we sat in there.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, that was cool.
We're trying to figure something out. We think we could pull that off. So
and if you did every Saturday like you did before, there's a room there. I think that would work.
We were using their platform and it was great and it was fun, but at the same time, we're trying to figure out we might have to get back on to talk about that. So I love talking.
Hey, that'll be fine.
Yeah, me and Don were on one night on the virtual bar, just sitting there talking.
Just the two of us. Like
everybody was at Anson. We just came home from Anson's open house, and also we get video like Gene's got Dave Streen over his shoulder, like walking around. We're like, what is going on?
And see, for some reason, like that whole night of the event, I was going in and out of rooms and stuff, and it was great. For some reason, I didn't know that it was going on, that bar thing was going on for the whole month.
Yeah,
for the 30 days, and I was missing all this, and I'm like,
it was
super cool. We had people coming back to us that had met because we had hail rooms, we had retail rooms, we had all these different rooms, and we had people meeting for the first time that actually worked together this year doing hail.
Oh, that's awesome.
How cool is that? Like really, right? So there was some connections being made that was really, really special.
A lot of people,
and we'll get back to that.
A lot of people are friends on Facebook, but they never, like me, I've never been to MTE. I was planning to go this year. It got canceled. I wasn't going to Vegas. So it'll be, next year before I get to go.
Yeah.
So this really helped. And then in all these rooms, you're face to face just like this. Right. It's great because you really I really get a sense of a person just talking to them like this. It really gives you a good feel. And so that was awesome.
It does. It's so cool and so much fun. And we all talk the same. Like I started talking to my wife about a Dent, And she just glasses over like, like even my friends that are in a million different, professions, they're like, whatever, dude. Like,
cool story, bro.
I unlocked this dent, and it was so great. And then I realized what? Like, so we all are so passionate about what we do. This isn't a job. And this is why we wanted to do this, for the industry it's really about, it's not about, today, it's about forever. And I tell my customers that every day. I always say, I'm going to go up above and beyond. Not about today. I want you forever. I want your friends and your family. It's the only way we grow as a small company. And I use that line every single day, and it works. And then I'll actually say at the end of that conversation, I'll say, can you do us a favor and give us a Google review? We got 2 Google reviews today,
awesome.
and 2 different customers. And you have to ask to be able to, receive. And if you don't ask someone, hey, can you tell a few friends, and when they say yes, they typically do it. And that's it's an important thing. I think, just to say, hey, thank you for your money and goodbye. It's great and it's still fine. But if you don't ask, you won't receive. So I think it's such an important thing that we all add that to our repertoire. It's helped us a lot, and I hope it helps everyone else a lot.
Yeah. Well, like me and Matt Boyett at Dent Slayer. He's in a group that we have a Zoom meeting every Friday. So he's got a lot of knowledge on marketing and stuff like that. Cool. And like he explained, a Google review, asking for that's basically payment for the future, because you're actually getting business from that review. So that's where, like, this week I put out that out of the hundreds and hundreds of people that I've done dents for, I've only got like 53 Google reviews.
I've got 58. It's hard. I've been begging and they're like, we'll do it. And they leave and you never get it.
Yeah.
And so I put out there, look, if I've done work for you before, I never asked for a 5-star review. Ask for an honest review. I don't care if it's a 1-star and I deserved it, give me that 1 star. But if you give me an honest review, go back to Google. If I've done work for you, I'm giving them $25 off a future repair.
Yep.
I had one customer, boom, went and did that. Okay. So today I did a dent repairs on 1 inch. So it was $154.50 for it. Okay.
Yeah.
We have the toy drive coming up. You get 25% off up to $100.
Okay.
So $154.50 minus $25 minus that 25%. He paid $93.17 for the dent repair. He brought a toy in. He got the $25 off for the great review.
Nice.
And he loved it. He's like, man, that's why I love you. I'm like, one, we're trying to give back for the toy drive. So I'm adding, I'm just adding them together. I don't have to do that. Yeah. But as a small business, these Google reviews really, really,
they're so important.
Yes.
Yeah, they're so important. And a lot of people, you ever have guys that come in and say, I just read all your Google reviews, and we've only got like 200 plus. And
I had one Monday.
You read 200 Google reviews? What the hell?
I had a guy Monday that selected me just off reading my reviews, and that made me feel really good. He's like, man, your reviews are all great. Yeah. I'm like Andy. I got a link we send our customers, so they just click it, and the 5 stars right there. It's super simple. Still have problems getting the reviews. It's like, come on, man! I made it as easy as I possibly can.
It's so easy, right? it's just so easy to do. You would think so. And I just been telling people lately that the 2 guys today. I said, hey guys, would you, after they ran and raved, hey God, we could really use the help. Could you do a Google review? And they're like, yeah, of course. And I say, I want to tell you how easy it is. Just go on a Google window, put in Dentcraft with a K, and then it'll pop up on the right side. And there's a little blue box. Just hit write review. It'll literally take you a minute, but it'll make all the difference to us. And they do it that way,
I'm sorry. The only thing that I find is a setback on that is you have to have a Google account.
Yeah, I think that's
to leave a review. That's what's bad. Is
you don't have a Google.
No, you got to have a Google. You got to sign into Google.
Customers got to have their own Google accounts.
So
a lot of
if
they got a phone, they might have iCloud or something.
You got all these older people that you do a lot for. They're not on there,
No.
So, we've got an actual cork board in our waiting room, A lot of the older people will send you a handwritten note, a card.
Nice.
So we'll hang it up on there because that's like the original Google review right there.
Absolutely.
So it's awesome. But I'm like,
I love that.
Man, it's got a great.
Yeah, Andrew had said, yeah, Mobile Tech RX is where I have mine. So when I sent, as soon as I finalize that invoice, it sends a text.
Nice, Andy.
But that's just it. They don't all do it, and I think the issue is you've got to have a Google account to leave a review, and I don't think everybody has that. So,
like Amanda was saying, like with the guy that picked us based off our reviews,
yes,
send him the link. He's like, "Yeah, I'll leave you a review." He actually offered to leave the review. Send him the link. Crickets. It's like, why is it so hard?
Yeah.
You don't want to bug the piss out of him because then you'll get like a 3-star review. He bugged the piss out of me for this review. So
this guy offered me $1 million to give him a Google review.
Yeah, we could go in all night on the review thing. Like my only bad review is on Facebook, and it was a do not recommend, and that's because it was a Friday. I totally forgot about this 8:00 appointment that was supposed to come here, and my wife couldn't go with our little girl's field trip she had that day. I was like, I can go. The dude called me at like 8:00. He's like, hey, I'm sitting out front of the office. I was like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm going, this is what happens. Can we reschedule it? Yeah. What's the first thing he does? Go on Facebook. Do not recommend, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, really, guy? But I'm fine with that. I mean, it was and like I replied back. I was like, I
agree, Matt.
I'm sorry for the review.
That's great, Matt. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Matt, you're right about that though. It's like, oh crap,
Hey, and Matt and a lot of his guys are going to be at Matt Moore's meetup. And David White asked earlier if I was going. Yes, me and Andy will be there as the Ginger Bros Dent Show, and I'm hoping to have this sucker on right here as world champions.
Nice.
I'll still be rocking my swag.
So yeah, Don, it's been a blast.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's an hour 30 right now. It's our longest show we've ever had.
Wow, that's incredible. It seems like we've been on here 20 minutes.
Oh, I know. Wow. It goes fast. And
if I didn't,
can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
So you said Don, Dent Craft with a K, right? And obviously my name's Don Kavanagh with a K, DK, right? So I'm doing I think it's like the second year of MTE, and I'm doing a really nasty right front door or left front door on this the Dent Olympics, right? And so I'm going after this really nasty body line smash, and it was so unfair back then, you guys. They put like little you put these sticky notes basically like this on it, and then of course they're flapping against like this, and I'm trying to and I'm the first one on the door. And Tom Price was one of the judges, and Terry Siegel was working in at that time, and mine was right up against door handle, and back then the door handles were protruding; they weren't like flush like they are today. A lot of them are flush, right? So anyway, I go, hey Tom, I need to move. I won't mess with it, but I want to put the numbers all above so I can do the door ding, so I can see it. And we look down the line, and one of them's this big and this big, this big, this big, this big, this big, and mine's right up against the door handle. So it kind of hit so hard, it was into the cup of the door, So anyway, I got it out. It was great. It was fine. Tom's like 45 minutes now, and you're fucking done, dude, and I was pretty happy with it, no big deal. And so then we moved them all down, and we both looked at him and went, not too, it wasn't the machine yet. So anyway, I get done with my door, and I was really happy with Dent, and then this other guy won, and it was in the middle of the door. And back then they were using that machine that Vail uses, and we realized that it doesn't read highs; it only reads lows, right?
Oh yeah.
This guy it was a mountain high. You got a mountain high, and he wins it. He wins this deal, right?
Wow. John Denver, Rocky Mountain High.
You had that, dude. You had that, and I'm like, dude, look at that fucking thing. Like what? And so there's a fist fight that night, over it, because the fiance said, my boyfriend's the best, my fiance won, and we're all like, everything sucks, So MT's come a long way since,
right?
But it was funny because Sid walked out to me from Dent Craft. God bless his heart and bless his soul. And we hope he's up in heaven looking down on us. I'm sure he is. Great guy. But I hadn't met him yet. And this is 1997, I think, something like that. And 96 maybe. And so it was the first year that he had been in a show, though, and had a booth and everything, right? And so he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, I see your name is Dentcraft. It's with a K, and Dentcraft, we're with a C. You know what I mean?" And he goes, "Hey, dude, I just don't want the confusion or anything. Looks like you're kind of in it here." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you think maybe you could change your name? Because I'm Dentcraft. I think there'll be some confusion." And I said, "Dude, there really won't be, because I don't sell tools. I'm just a shop in Minnesota, and we're just a brick and mortar in Minnesota." And he's like, "Oh man, and I go, "When did you," and I just happened to say, "When did you incorporate?" And he goes, "Well, this year, 97 or whatever." And I said, "Well, dude, I'm 89, and immediately it's exactly, God bless his heart. That's exactly what he said. He said, "Oh my God, do you have a problem with my name?" And we laughed and we giggled. And I said, "No, buddy, I think you got a great name. I think you should go with it." So then for years after that, it was like, "Hey, DC, hey, DK, hey."
Yeah.
And it was really fun. It was really fun.
Awesome.
And we had a great time with it. And that was such a tragedy to lose such a great man, such a down to earth person. I didn't know him that well, but I've heard all the stories, and he was sure good to me for the few minutes that we would converse, through those years. But but that's that. So I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, thank you. Yeah. Hey, and we hope Dave, gets better. I know he's going through a lot right now. So
he is really. He's been in procedures all day today at the hospital and stuff. And
y'all send thoughts and prayers to him. My thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Yeah, absolutely.
Two great guys doing a great event, and we're excited about it. Like I said, I can't wait for it.
Me neither. I'm pumped.
So, you don't have to wait. That's the cool thing.
I know that's awesome.
Guys,
but
dentrepair.com and go jump in there. And it's going to take you a while to get caught up on the old 20. And if you've already listened to the 20, please go back and listen to it again, because you'll get more out of it. And maybe it'll be, thanks, Joel. Appreciate you, brother. Joel worked for me back in 15. Way back in the day, we had a big deal. Yeah. And now 1915, right. So Joel, funny story. I remember about you, Joel, really quick. The ice cream truck rolled up. It was about 95 degrees. It was hot. We're doing this dealership. It's like $1 million deal. It was a Lexus dealership and a Chevy dealership, and a whole lot got pounded. And we had like 15 guys, and we were taking care of business. And I said, "Guys, everybody out to the ice cream truck. I'm buying." So everybody gets something, and here Joel, and you remember this, Joel. Now Joel's ripped and he's in great shape, so he'll get a kick out of this. Joel's got like 8 things or five.
He said he ate a ton.
He ate a ton.
Eight. I ate a ton. Yeah, it was so funny. Like, dude, are you gonna be able to eat all that? Like,
if you're buying, hell, I'll eat it.
Him and Lou Freeman were a tag team on that year, and we had a lot of fun. So
I can just see Joel with ice cream all over his face and stuff. Just
you want to bite? I love it.
So
love you, Joel.
It was fun. I love you, Joel, too, man. It's so good, and thank you for all your service. I know you're a Marine, and thank you. So,
hoorah!
Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate you, brother. Bruce is such a great guy. Gold certificate from. From the man,
right.
Man's hungry, Joel. Yeah. Not
Speaking
anymore.
of that,
you're a little guy now, Joel.
Speaking of hungry, my amazing wife has some pot roast on the.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, and I'm still in shop. I got to get home. I got to eat, and I got to watch the game.
Get home, boys.
It's on now,
Thanks for having it. What did we go?
134, 135. Yeah.
You guys,
as long as one. And look. We've
had
like
2 minutes.
It flew by.
20 plus viewers the whole time, so that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, thank y'all. Thank you, Don. Hope Dave gets well soon. But thanks everybody that's tuned in and keeps engaging with us. It really helps and helps us grow. So
great.
So y'all two stay in here. I'm gonna play the outro video and then we'll say our goodbyes. So
sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.